Well, folks, we ventured through the long journey of the original Avatar The Last Airbender series. We sojourned through the god-awful live-action movie. You can be sure we're looking forward to commentating on the comic books, which takes place between the show we're about to commentate on and the original show. And, of course,
And
we're
the
looking forward to the
live
Netflix
action
series. But now, folks, it's time to look at the successor. Well, actually, no, not the successor, the direct sequel. Flashback. Back to the announcement times of the movie. Well, actually, in the wake of how badly the movie was received, there was a glimmer of hope as the original creators of Avatar The Last Airbender announced that they too were not too fond of the movie and they had prepped for us a new Avatar The Last Airbender series. That's right, it's the Legend of Korra, an Avatar series about the next Avatar. What would happen after Aang died? What happened about 70 years later, you may ask? That's right. And let me tell you, Legend of Korra was a series with a lot of promise. Like, we got looks at a steampunk setting, a more modern take on what Avatar would be like, combining machinations while also still keeping bending here and there. And the protagonists sound cool. She's a brown-skinned, ass-kicking, female strong protagonist without having to constantly say she's a female strong protagonist. That's right, she was awesome. You know, some people thought, oh wait, she's a girl, people may not like her. Even the boys were saying, dudes, it is 2012. We are completely on board. She looked awesome. The trailers looked awesome. The music was awesome. The art style was awesome. Everything looked awesome. And then the series came. Okay, folks.
Let's just say it got mixed reception from fans. Some loved it, some hated it.
And then
some was just like, it's okay.
And then season 2 came, and that was collectively hated.
Yeah.
And then the series went to being online only. Shame, because that's when it actually got good afterwards. But let's start where it all began, in Book 1. This one's called Book 1 Air. Get it? Because we never got to a Book of Air. Screw you, Nickelodeon.
Basically, everybody, bust out your digital copy, because most of the show is on digital anyway. You should be seeing a blast screen right before the Nickelodeon logo, and then the show will start.
For reference, well, I don't know how it is for Lives and Shirei, but for me, it's going into this practically completely blank. The only major thing I know about this series is like one or two names of the characters, a very glimpse of what their personality could be, and the very last scene of the last season. Literally, that's it.
I've only seen that particular scene and a general retrospective of the overall series, so I haven't actually had the full context.
So basically, any reaction, at least on my part, is completely genuine.
And what about you, Dwibs? How new are you?
Guess the same with me.
I've heard reactions while the episode was being broadcast through people's Twitter accounts I followed. Some positive, some not. I'll put it lightly.
God help you if you're listening during Book 2, but don't worry, we'll get to that.
All right.
Well, I was there for all. Well, I didn't watch it, but I was hearing the reactions for all of the series. Yeah.
Ah, all right.
Like Pedro said, before the Nickelodeon logo.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, click. Fun fact, actually, this was one of the highest ratings programs ever. Yeah, that's right. Everyone around the world was.
Of course, all the fans were hyped to watch this and support it, obviously.
So, one good thing off the bat, we got...
the intro is a reflection of the original's intro, except this time, obviously, the cycle is adjusted to fit, well, because remember, water comes after air in a cycle, so obviously the new Avatar is a water.
So yeah, we're getting narration by Aang's son, Tenzin, played by J.K. Simmons. Okay, that's a good thing right out the bat. They got freaking J.K. Simmons as a recurring actor. And trust me, he is one of the best characters in this. So, what happened after the war? Basically, Aang worked with Zuko to get the world properly united. And what was that? They got the capital city of them all, united in peace and harmony, called Republic City, which is New York City, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, look, it kind of looks like it, just surrounded by mountains.
Oh, look at that. They even got a Lady of Liberty version of Aang.
Yeah, so basically this takes place 70 years after the end of Last Airbender.
Sadly, though, that meant Aang had to, well, die.
Obviously.
Yeah, and unfortunately we couldn't include the word Avatar because James Cameron took it.
When this first was about to premiere, I was thinking, oh, okay, so I'm guessing they're probably going to make two more series, one with an Earthbender and then one with a Firebender as the protagonist. That would be Saying that would make sense.
Now let's start off with a positive. Another positive. The animation bump is amazing. Like, okay,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. The original show was great animation, but this one kicks it up a notch.
Okay.
It was like 4 years after
Okay,
the
here we go.
I will say this. I don't like how our protagonist is introduced, but you'll see.
We read the script.
That's an entrance.
Hold on.
Okay, bit of context about that.
Deal with it.
Bit of context about that line. When that line first came, that was actually seen as awesome because it was against the doubts of, a female main protagonist. Yeah, because Nickelodeon were kind of doubtful about that. I hate test audiences and toy sales. But yeah, back when the show was starting, the line, "I'm the Avatar and you gotta deal with it," that was awesome. It has not aged well. I'm just gonna
Let's just say that line is very questioned in retrospect, but you'll see.
Yeah.
Is that what the Microsoft stuff for?
So, anyway, unlike with Avatar Aang, we cut forward to Korra as a teen, and she pretty much has mastered all forms of bending. Well, not all. Also,
She lacks restraint,
Jova.
apparently.
yeah.
Jova, when I first saw this scene, I already was voicing a concern of myself. Mind if I voice a concern that I have? No, like not even just
Go
in terms
on.
of retrospect. Like literally, when I was first seeing this scene, I was already thinking to myself about this. Okay, remember? Okay, she's a waterbender, which means fire is her opposite element. Remember how it was incredibly hard for Aang to learn earthbending?
And that was a thing
Different
they established.
circumstances. There was an entire war going on, and the vast majority of the enemies were firebenders.
Well, I know that, Teo, but that's not what I mean, Teo. What I mean is that it's incredibly difficult for a waterbender avatar to learn firebend because it's the opposite of his or her very nature. And she just masters it immediately. From what
Well, they're already
well,
treating
to be
from
fair,
the
they're
get-go that
saying-
she's a special snowflake.
Okay.
And to be fair, they're saying now you're lacking restraint and you're going into stuff too fast.
Also,
Oh,
lacking restraint
yeah.
is really the major weakness in mastering firebending. That's also what Aang.
So
I
here's
guess my pro- I guess
I
my
had
problem
to
is that
deal
it's
with
a
it for
lack of
different reasons, but
consistency.
yeah, it was kind of the same.
Also, who's voicing Korra, just to know?
Janet Varney.
I'm not quite sure who that is. I'm guessing this was her big breakout role.
I only know her from Korra.
Also, that's Katara. Now
Katara.
aged up, obviously,
Oh.
of course.
yeah,
Obviously.
Katara,
Also,
Katara is still alive.
Doggo.
Yeah, that's probably like.
It's not a doggy, Teo. It's a polar dog bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
double the
That's-
fluffiness.
Yes.
Also, the South Pole has kind of upped their security, thankfully. Well, it helps that they
You
restructured.
named your pet after a mythological beast that eats humans. Charming.
Yeah.
Also, Pedro, I'm gonna have to
I'll get back to
disagree
you,
based
Teo.
on-
Go ahead, sure.
I'm gonna have to disagree based on the entire this first premise because Aang had to travel to various locations to actually learn how to do this stuff, and people were hiding a lot because of the war. This is a different universe where from the get-go people were actively searching for the Avatar, so basically she's probably done nothing but training in a single location from various people, so she would learn it a lot faster.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, let me. I see your point, Shiroi. Allow me. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
I love
so-
this bit.
Tencent's family. Yeah.
Okay, every moment with
Even if
Tenzin
she does
is-
turn out to be a snowflake like later on, or like a Mary Sue, I should say, this first bit I think is just a coincidence.
Oh,
Sure.
okay. I'll give Korra credit. She's many things, but not a Mary Sue.
Okay.
Wait, this bit coming up.
Oh God.
Listen to this. That one thing we left hanging.
What happened to Zuko?
And cue
Fuck
much,
off.
and cue much of the
Fuck
fan
off.
base.
Again, I'm still really emotionally disconnected because I guess cluelessness.
Okay.
Wait,
okay.
I might be a bit behind. What are you on about?
No, my problem there is that they never explained that, and yet they teased us with that.
Let
Come
me-
on.
okay,
just-
here's the
Well, like I said, whatever. Let's just go.
Let me put it like this to you. The context is that, that thing they're teasing about Zuko's mom, the thing that a lot of fans really wanted to know. And put this into perspective, we as fans had to wait at least 4 years for this sequel. We're never going to get that in the show. You have to read a comic.
Shiro, if you don't mind, I think that my problem would have been alleviated if we saw a training montage of her growing up and practicing, and we would see her, go for all. But we literally cut from her being basically a baby to a full-grown avatar. So I kind of wish we had a montage showing her progression. That would have made it more believable to me.
My major question instead is this: right now she knows of water bending and fire bending, correct?
She knows earth bending too.
So, what her journey is gonna be about?
Basically, okay. Allow me to explain. Well, Tio, because Aang had to learn every other element, let's instead do the exact opposite. Have Korra just learn about air. Now, granted, yes, this was just meant to be a miniseries or whatnot, but I will say this. Part of a point Pedro has is like, well, okay, here's the thing. Normally, an avatar was tasked, actually, to journey the world in search of their trainers here and there. Korra was treated a bit differently. Yeah, apparently the White Lotus at some point... Okay, you remember how the White Lotus were Iroh's society of old people? Now the White Lotus are apparently now appointed guards of the Avatar. I guess because they want to be extra safe. So for some reason, the White Lotus wants to keep Korra sheltered, which means she spent her entire life in the South Pole.
Tenzin is supposed to be Korra's airbending teacher. However, he can't do it right now because he has to go back to Republic City.
Okay. Incredibly impatient.
Okay, Tio, sure. Stop me if you heard this before. The daughter of the chief has spent her entire life trapped within inside and wants something more.
Ariel.
Well, come on, it's the Disney princess formula.
Disney princess, but yeah, sure.
All right, so, okay, here's the thing. So Korra was just about to get her airbending training, but Tenzin has to leave because there's trouble going on in Republic City. So So Korra begs the question, why can't she just come with them? They say it's too dangerous.
Too dangerous. Even though she's the Avatar, her entire goal is to go into danger, but whatever.
Well, besides, it's not like there is a big urgency of the Avatar right now.
Oh, whoa, hold on. Tio. There's no urgency in training the Avatar, the person who's supposed to be keeping the world in check, who needs to be prepared for anything.
Well, right now, they haven't said anything about any turmoil that may disturb the peace that is being preserved on the planet.
Don't worry,
Tio, that's exactly what's going on in Republic City, the very capital of the entire world right now.
And,
she's going to sneak off for that dog.
Where the Lost in Space movie intro actually was more honest than this, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, okay, look. See,
let's cherish Katara's presence because she's not in it much.
Yeah, Sokka's also dead, too.
Dead.
She's basically the last survivor of the original gang.
Not quite. Some of them are still alive.
Not quite.
Well, as far as we know so far, fine.
Yeah, in episode 1.
Okay, I will never deny, this show definitely has a lot of its good moments in writing.
It does.
Let it never be said that I hate the show 100%. Like I said, it even gets good with seasons 3 and 4. And I'll put it like this.
I've heard this from the people who even hate it, so...
Yeah. Let me put it like this.
Sure, the opposite can be thrown. Even people who love the show admit it.
Well, okay, at least they didn't went with the parents being against her leaving.
God.
Let's just say, Teo, that comment that you just made is going to come back to bite you in the ass.
Guys,
okay.
I'll made a connection.
Wait, hold on. Let me just say this to you. I hate season 2. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, that's all you need to know.
I just made a connection, actually.
What?
Yes, go ahead.
A show that comes from a division of Viacom, had 4 seasons, got treated shittily by the network, had a mediocre first season and a crap second season, improved seasons 3 and 4 only to have a crap ending. It's Star Trek Enterprise.
Wow,
I honestly disagree. I honestly think the Enterprise is overhated.
So, okay, and another thing, I gotta say, Republic City looks pretty flipping amazing.
Yeah, the art direction
Enterprise didn't get relegated to... Enterprise didn't get relegated to online only later.
I'm not sure. I probably need to see more to be fully convinced. The idea of having the Avatar setting being so modernized reminds me a bit of how in Neverending Story 3 they have television. It's just odd.
I mean,
to be fair, Teo, it's
been
this has been
17
years, so obviously technology advanced.
I suppose it's just.
That reminds me.
Steampunk.
Never mind, I should probably mention another detail. You may have noticed they're calling cars Satomobiles. That's because in this universe, the guy who created automobiles is Hiroshi Sato.
Well, we're gonna learn that later on, Joe. I might as
You know
well
what this
say
means,
that
though?
later.
Hello.
Well, guys,
Hi, doggy.
Oh, Jesus.
well, guys, you know what this means, though? An American city that has a lot of Asian influence into it. Is this where his attorney was descended from?
Puncher.
Okay, here's the thing. Apparently, being sheltered in life, Korra does not know money.
I can understand that. It's just
They
that.
don't. Well, to be fair, the Southern Water Tribe has always been about a more tribal life, so the concept of proper commerce is different.
Here's my problem with this, though.
Oh,
The
hello.
reason she doesn't know about this is because, well, what a shock! She was sheltered her entire life. And, okay,
Yeah.
look, maybe this is how it worked, but let's not forget, as was established in the original series, every Avatar was supposed to set out on a journey across the world. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering why the White Lotus is actually keeping her locked up in every now and then, too bad, you gotta wait till season 3 when we explain that. And it comes off more like a retcon than anything else. Now, here's the real reason why they did this. Because Aang got to explore. Okay, this is one issue with this series that did show up as soon as the first season. It's like they're going out of their way to be as opposite from the original series as they can. Also,
Even
yeah,
though it
fishing
takes
is
place in
illegal.
the same continuity, and it's literally 70 years. It's a sequel series, basically. So,
I
but
mean,
anyway, it also, if you'd like me to add something, Joe, there's also the fact about the airbending. That if you might remember in the original series, airbending is all about being.
oh wait, hold on. This is important.
Yeah, true. There you go, Theo.
Oh, my
We hate
favorite
feathers.
trope, Muggle power, joyful.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Tio, this show does not hold back on the politics.
I'm just gonna say this
No,
right
it
now.
doesn't.
How fun.
I'm just gonna
Also,
say
so
this.
that was the mask that that Doug
wait,
used
this
for the
bit.
character of Shyamalan.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a parody of that character.
I'm just
yes.
gonna
Yep.
say this right now. Very good idea. Poor execution, especially since
Sorry,
Just-
Jova, I have never seen a work of fiction where this idea works properly.
Zootopia.
No,
Well,
he doesn't mean politics in general, Joe.
I mean, Jova, non-magical power beings that are so racist against magical beings because they are not special.
Oh, again, okay, let me put it like this, Tio. They are not meant to be just clear-cut bad guys, at least at first. Essentially, it's pretty much the equivalent to the revolution against racism, sort of like, think back to the 1960s with Martin Luther King. That's what they're trying to be, only not done as well.
Oh,
Anyway,
we even have gangsters.
And now we got gangsters.
Yes.
Triple threat
Fantastic.
triads.
I love how one of them is his car. But anyway, okay, you know how in the original series we talked about how airbending is all about being strong of spirit and being
Fuck
very
finals.
very in tune with the spirit world and all that shit, right?
To be fair, we probably should save that for later, since, airbending doesn't really come up quite talking yet.
Sure.
She's a
this
girl.
So we need
Triple
to
threat
we need to challenge her to a car game.
No, Theo, they're gonna challenge her to pro bending. You'll see.
Okay,
Mind
not
you,
gonna
mind
lie.
you,
we have
Mind
co-
the comebacks aren't exactly the most inspired.
Ooh.
Okay, that was great. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the combat though. You're gonna need a hospital. No, you're gonna need a hospital.
We'll get. I'll get back to you, Dibs. Because trust me, you've only seen a taste.
Again,
Again, the animation is great.
and the fight
I will
scenes are actually well enough choreographed. And I'll give Korra this: her fighting style is different enough from Aang that
Yeah,
she's
too
definitely
bad
not a
she's going
clear-cut
full
copy.
Man of Steel on this.
Well, yeah. Remember,
about
Jova.
that.
She's supposed to be the opposite of Aang, whereas Aang was very, nimble and very in tune with the spirits. She's more of a brute force, simple-minded person.
Kind
It's
of
nice
our-
to see a bit of a change, though.
Aang was a pacifist, but Korra has no trouble in using violence.
In handling
No.
people's
more
ass.
like,
their whole-
more like Avatar Kyoshi.
Oh, good, the
Oh,
police.
the police.
Okay.
Yeah, I
let
wonder
me- let
which
me
of
guess,
them
they're
is
gonna
gonna be
arrest-
arrested.
They're going
In
to arrest
fact-
the Avatar.
That's such a good segue,
Oh,
Shirai.
we're going full Attack on Titan.
Okay, here's the gist. All the
Metal
police
benders.
all the police are metal benders.
So there you go. Apparently, Toph founded the police force of metal benders.
I'm sure this cannot go wrong in any kind of way.
Yeah,
she's
you're
under arrest. Because
Hold on.
Because
they
they destroyed private property.
she showed them up or something.
Well, they're not wrong.
You know,
You know, Korra, you probably should have
you
listened
know,
to
he's
Tenzin.
got a point. Why not just go quietly with the police officers and explain yourself, or just assault them?
Well, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
'cause that's gonna
fair,
bode well.
to be fair, like we've already established, she doesn't know anything about how law and police work. So
Yeah, except
Maybe they
when-
taught her basic rules, though.
that's the thing, was they didn't teach her anything because she wasn't supposed to leave the North Pole. Remember?
Ooh.
Yeah, she snuck out, remember?
It's a bit
See,
of a
I wouldn't
dirty
mind
tactic.
that.
Oh,
That's going to leave a mark.
No one touches
Also,
my
Korra, could
hair.
you please not smile about that?
Yeah, that's another thing. Korra is very happy about using violence. About it. She doesn't even have any remorse for
again,
beating the
kind
crap
of
out
like
people.
Kyoshi.
Okay.
She isn't much of a tactician.
Let me put it like this.
No, that's not
She's
like a
me,
tactic.
pretty
it's
much,
that,
if I were the Avatar.
go ahead, Jova. You were
Let
saying.
me put it like this. Now, a lot of our critiques probably do come up as nitpicks, and normally if it were any other show, I'd agree, but this is an Avatar show. Avatar rewarded you for noticing every little detail, whereas the more details you'll notice here, the more details will really get on your nerves. And look at that, the one who founded the police was Toph, hence
Well, yeah.
the statue.
Well, that was easy to guess. I mean, she was the first metal bender.
That's our job. Yeah, yeah, what she said.
Now, allow me to tell you the story of how I got here for a 70-hour JRPG.
Yes, this is Persona 5, but like 5 years before. I'm in charge.
There you go.
Yeah.
One of Toph's descendants.
Toph's daughter, actually.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Avatar and not Avatar Korra.
Which, by the way, you're not fully yet.
She's actually
Is this
got a
going to
point.
be the typical police are fucking useless story?
No. The police actually are useful. I mean, they actually have a point.
Oh, wait, Tenzin.
Oh, hello.
I am very disappointed in you.
No, remember, it was J.K. Simmons. Do a J.K. Simmons voice.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
Not that J.K. Simmons voice.
I like that.
Well, I
Oh, yeah,
want pictures of the Avatar.
South Pole, not North Pole. Whatever, one of the poles.
Yeah, all
Good thing
$200
Tenzin's
of
rich.
it. How long does it take for us to come back to?
Okay, that was funny.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, a platypus bear.
Yeah.
Yes. Get
Yeah.
used to that,
Uh-oh,
Tenzin.
this bit.
And you wrecked a bunch of shit. What makes you think?
Uh,
No, yeah. At times, J.K. Simmons' performance.
No, and it's
in,
not
Whip-
healthy for you either.
So yeah,
It-
Tenzin, it was Aang's and Katara's first son.
times-
no.
It's over. At times it come off like
Actually,
J.K.
Pedro,
Simmons' portrayal
Was
of
it?
Whiplash
Oh, no, never
is
mind.
coming through.
he's the
was it?
youngest.
Oh, he's the youngest, isn't he? Okay, fine. Which one is the oldest again?
Boomy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Aww.
Hey, Jova.
Yes.
At times there, I kind of felt like J.K. Simmons' Whiplash character was coming through.
Oh, trust me, it's warranted considering how frustrating Korra could be. But I digress.
I can imagine right now. Okay, Katara, we have to fuck like jackrabbits so we can expand my airbending population because I'm the last one left. So come on.
Oh god, yeah. Back in the day,
Jeez.
believe it or not, people thought Tenzin was gonna get shipped with Korra before we knew how old each one was.
What?
Well,
I never heard of that.
No,
not only that,
Pedro.
I can
I'm,
kind
ta-
of get to the fact that Tenzin is really old on his own. So
I'm talking about before people knew what Tenzin and Korra were even like, basically. I'm talking about before
okay.
the show started.
Before the show even aired.
I have to go now. My planet needs me. Falling out of balance, so it's the Force now.
No, here's one issue. Korra said that she saw a lot of Republic City and it's out of whack. So, I just have this to ask, what exactly was out of whack about
wow,
Republic
he
City?
changed his mind rather quickly.
Yeah.
No, you must
Fuck.
go back home.
Aw.
Stay home.
Cute.
You must go back home and
Frog.
stay home.
Ugh.
Actually, no, I
I will say.
you can go
I
home.
will-
You have to go home now and stay home. Nah, boy, you're just kidding.
I'll also say this. While I do like Tenzin, I don't like his children, but I'll elaborate as we go on.
Well, so far they're just
And I'm
being
Spider-Man
annoying
ever
little shit,
since
so-
I was
Hello?
11.
I'd be allow. Great, now just take a freaking public press conference. I like Stanley a little bit there.
Okay, Korra, press conference 101. Answer their question with another question.
Maybe
Yes.
sheltering our avatar was a...
you're not good at this whole politics thing.
I
Oh,
don't know.
gee.
It sounds like, judging from what I've seen so far, Pedro, her question would be, "Well, what are you doing?"
Well,
The,
gee,
the predators, are they all a different species? Yes, they are.
well, gee, guys, maybe sheltering the avatar was a bad idea, but more on that later.
Oh, I wonder who that mysterious figure is.
Amon.
Oh, hey, Steve Blum.
Meet our villain.
I'm evil.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. By the way, might as well mention this. Unlike the first series, this first season of Korra was written entirely by both Brian and Mike. They didn't get their writing team from the original series.
Part of the reason was because they could only get this as a mini-series because Nickelodeon didn't have faith in Avatar.
What a surprise.
Apparently, wow, it's like it's almost like again another similarity. One bad product apparently taints a company's, to take on a series or person. This Nickelodeon with this after the live-action movie, Warner Brothers with Ben Affleck have to live by night.
To be fair, Dweebs, they were like that even before the movie. Again, remember how they wouldn't even let the guys do a book 4 of the original show? Which was originally
Anyway.
gonna be here. But yeah, okay, so that was the first episode. Before we give our final thoughts, I do have another critique to give. Korra says that she saw a lot of Republic City and it's out of whack, and I do have to agree with what some people say. Okay, so you saw a peaceful revolution and gangsters, sure, but the police came to take care of them. What exactly was out of whack aside from you having to pay money, which you clearly didn't, or, fishing where it was illegal?
PR answer, I guess.
That's the thing, though. I mean, okay, a lot of this does feel a bit designated. And again, I will say this right now. At first, it doesn't seem too bad, but I will say this, them going out of their way to make everything as opposite from the original show as it could be is gonna come back to bite them.
It's like they're afraid that if they show even like one similarity, people think, oh, it's just a clone of the last show.
That's pretty much the mentality they went in with, at least with the first 2 seasons.
Well, so far she seems to be more like a clone of Kyoshi, like I just said.
Which, okay, that's not a bad idea.
No, not at all. Like I said, one of the things that I actually would have wished to see was a prequel series about Kyoshi.
Oh yeah, I will say this, it's like, okay, Korra herself is not the biggest issue, and I will say she does grow as a character, so, alright then, so, who wants to go first on thoughts of this episode?
Me.
Oh, go ahead, Leaves. Sorry.
Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't a bad pilot. I just think times it was a bit too fast, and sometimes characters that don't really take much convincing to go back on what they say. It's like, oh, you're gonna have to stay with me in the airbending temple. Nah, I'm just kidding. You can stay here.
That's because of the limitations, Ribs, because Brian and Mike are limited to 12. Is it 12? 12?
Yes,
12
it's only
right?
12
Well,
episodes.
it's only 12 episodes, half as much as each season of the original series, and because of that, Brian and Mike have to basically rush for the plot. Basically.
Oh, not only that,
Also,
probably...
remember
It's Person of Interest season 5 all over again.
Sorry,
thing,
Shira,
but
can
then
you
it was
repeat
changed
that?
last minute.
Yeah, but at least with Person
Hold
of
on, one at a
Interest,
time. Sure, you were saying?
No,
Right,
I
sure.
think Dribs heard me.
but at least with Person of Interest, Pedro, that was only limited to like the last season. This is like, I've heard this is like all.
Let me put it like this. Each season is its own separate story. Brian and Mike told a clear story across 3 seasons with the original show. So now they're basically doing it at a third of that.
Yeah.
I don't mind like an anthologyist show.
Oh, me neither. No, this is the thing. This has a continuous story, but the problem is that, again, unlike with the original series, because of the seasons being cut in half their runtime, the writers have less time to flesh out everything as much as they did in the original series. That's basically the basic point here.
And I'm sorry if we spent a lot of this episode kind of sounding like we were building up stuff, folks. I promise from now on, for the next few episodes, we'll just commentate on stuff from present. Let's just say a lot of the issues I'm now noticing. Again, it's like a bizarre version of Avatar. Whereas with Avatar, I noticed the seeds that were cool and building up to great stuff. Here I noticed the seeds that were not so cool and kind of would lead into bigger problems.
From
But
now on, we'll
again.
try to live in the present, but that's about it.
All right,
Sure.
so, Tio, your first
I'll be
impressions.
short. Some things I'm okay with it, others for now not so much. That unfortunately has to include, like I said, the setting. This evolution is not convincing me so far, and of course the setting up to
Muggle
avoid
power.
the Muggle power, because man, it's just like the beginning of Maleficent all over again.
Oh, let me put it like this, Tio. It kind of hurts me because, again, this is their take on the 1960s revolution against racism.
Teo, what if I told you that the Muggle power thing is basically the focus of this season?
Well, didn't you guys also told me that it's kind of like the end game, because the video game was based upon that?
The video game was something completely original.
Oh,
No.
didn't knew that.
Look,
Whatever.
Tio, I'm just gonna let you see for yourself.
Point being, some things I'm okay with it, others not. So far, Korra is okay to me. I get the brashness and the fact that she's no nonsense in terms of behavior and how she reacts to things, but we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Well,
You're kind of
that's
like
how
how
I
I
was at the
was
beginning
at
as well.
first. You know,
Yeah,
Korra definitely
same.
seems promising at this stage. Sure, Roy, what did you think?
I thought it was fine. I
Mhm.
mean, the only thing I really don't, well, I know how bad the politics gets later on, but that's not really the focus, the major focus of this particular episode. The only thing that I found really annoying were the grandchildren.
Ah, yes. Icky, Milo, and... Okay. Janora's fine. Okay, let me put it like this. Janora, people were fine with. Icky, people hated because of a stupid thing about interrupting the story about Zuko's mother. And Milo... We'll get to Milo.
That's a thing, Jova. I don't like Janora either, but we'll get to it.
I'll say this, Janora's
Yeah.
the less of all evils, although sadly she kind of becomes the most bland one by the final season. But
Wow,
again,
I
we're
could stay
getting
here.
ahead of ourselves.
Wow, I could stay here all day reading. But go ahead, Joe.
But
Anyway.
yeah, the only thing other than that is for now, because again, I said I didn't really have the full context of everything. I'm just going to assume that Korra's overall attitude is because of her lifestyle. You know, her entire life has been about being the Avatar, so it's it's pretty natural that it feels kind of natural that she would be a bit headstrong, whereas Aang, he had a better view of the wider world. So for now, that Korra's fine. Like I don't think she learns with time, but
You'll see, sure, you'll see.
For now, I understand her character.
No, I agree as well. That's kind of how I felt as well for the first.
Yeah.
Sure. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. So
All right.
So,
I think that's everyone.
So that's it. Well,
All right.
my thoughts
Oh,
are.
right. I almost forgot about us. Go on, Pedro.
My thoughts were basically the same as everybody else said. Like, okay, my original thoughts when I first saw this episode, because I remember them quite clearly, were okay. There are some things here that I'm a bit iffy on, but that's okay. Fine. It's just the first episode. I'm sure things will get. I'm sure everything will get straight into the rails right any moment now. So whatever. Moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so similar thing with me. I had my issues here and there, and I'll admit I was a bit worried when I heard that this was going to be a mini series. But I'll admit, a lot of us could chalk up to, they've been out of this practice for a while, so, they'll probably situate things in, like, it's hard to name a show pilot that hasn't been iffy here and there. Like, I mean, I can't think of any pilot that's been completely perfect. So perfect, so good on them. And I will say this, like I said, the animation was pretty good. I did like the character voices they went with. The character designs looked nice enough. And I was actually enthusiastic about this new setting. More people can meadow bend and all that stuff, seeing how things have changed and whatnot. So I did appreciate that. I'd say this was a good enough start. My only worry was when Korra said that Republic City seemed out of whack, and even back then I thought, it doesn't seem that bad. But I will admit, them showing that, there's this evil guy played by Steve Blum, that did get me excited.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So, yeah, basically, promising start either way. So, we'll see how things continue in the second episode, where we get introduced to more of our main cast. So, see you for Book 1, Air, Chapter 2, A Leaf in the Wind.
See ya.
Not a turn in the wind, a leaf in the wind. See ya.